Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Children's Reviews where I bring a review every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And today we're going to be reviewing a little bit of an interesting movie here. It is called Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15. Yep, that's right. You heard it here first, folks. A movie based off a video game, or actually takes place before the video game of Final Fantasy 15. And that's also right, folks. I will be reviewing Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, pretty soon, a couple of weeks, whenever I beat it. It's a JRPG or an RPG, so it's going to be kind of long. And I'm surprised I'm playing it because I hated Final Fantasy VII Remake. But they're different. Every Final Fantasy is pretty different than each other. But anyway, we're here talking about the movie. And the movie, Kingsglaive, Final Fantasy 15, or just Kingsglaive, takes place literally right before the game. You should probably watch this movie if you're going to play the game. It's not 100% necessary, but it helps. And I'm also here to tell you guys that if it's like worth the price, worth watching, and just straight up, yeah, it's actually not that bad for a CGI movie. It's just a fully CGI movie with actually a really good voice acting cast. Like it surprised me. We got Sean Bean as the main King of Lucius. Which Sean Bean is the guy from Game of Thrones. We got Aaron Paul, which is Jesse from Breaking Bad, which he's the main character, Nix, and Nix is actually probably the best character in the entire thing. And he stands out because a lot of the characters fall into really tropey and basic stuff. The characterization is the weakest part of this movie by far, but I would not watch this movie for its story or its characters because it's just very tropey, very obvious. Not obvious, but just basic. And then we also have I don't remember her name, but Cersei from Game of Thrones is also acted in this as the princess. And basically, it starts off like already with nuts to butts action, just shit going off. And that's what you want to watch this movie for. Is one the pretense story of Final Fantasy 15, and two the action. The action is like just awesome. It just looks crazy. There's always this. You can just do a lot of shit when it's just a computerized CGI movie. And there's a lot of magic and shit going on. That's what Final Fantasy is, especially in this world. It's shit like the Kingsglaive especially have these things where they throw a sword and they can teleport to the sword like wherever it goes. And it's like all like sparkly and shit. It's very glowy, a lot of explosions and shit. And they're fighting like robots and they got like fire magic and shield magic and shit like that. And basically it starts off like I said, action. You don't really know what's going on. I was confused for like the first 15-20 minutes, and then it sits you down and starts talking to you about the story, which is basically, I mean, they give you the some narration in the beginning, but I couldn't remember what the fuck they said. But the main story of this movie is, there's the king's side, which is just this kingdom of insomnia is like the main crown city, and it's this place that is surrounded by a magical bubble with this like magical thing in the middle of the city. And the king is very magical and strong, and basically he powers everyone's magic and all that. It's very magic. If you like magic and action, and it's got some like modern shit too. That's why I like this. People are getting in like super cars and sports cars, uh, and like driving around and shit. But then there's kings and queens. It's very interesting. That's why I like Final Fantasy. It mixes these two elements. It is pretty anime, so if you're not really an anime person, obviously this isn't for you. And yeah, I don't know. I'm sure if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you've already played 15. But if you've ever been interested and you were thinking about like purchasing this movie for $2 or $3 before you played Final Fantasy 15, definitely should do it just for the action. And back to the story anyway. Like I said, we have the good king side, and we have this evil empire, this emperor, and he's just taking shit over and basically killing the hell out of the kingdom, the king's people, and the Kingsglaive, and it focuses on this guy named Nix, part of the Kingsglaive, and just like how they're affected by the king agreeing to sign a peace treaty, to marriage his son to this princess, the emperor's princess, and yeah, and that's basically where it goes. And then obviously the emperor is pretty fucking evil, so later down the line it kind of betrayals in a certain way. I mean, I know I'm not spoiling too much. Like it's just it happens. It's very obvious. You're mainly watching this for the setup of Final Fantasy 15 and the action. I'm pretty sure a lot of the characters from this are not gonna be in the game. Only probably the princess is, and it's definitely not like the same voice actor or anything. And the princess was very generic and probably my least favorite character of like the big name characters here. which sucks though because Aaron Paul did really well as Nyx in this. It just he was a really cool character. For his side of things, he was a member of the Kingsglaive, and the Kingsglaive is pretty mad at the king for signing the peace treaty because a lot of their families are actually outside of the wall of the dome, the magic's wall, and yeah, they own like there's places that the king owns that's outside of the wall, but I don't know, he just didn't cover those places up. So they're giving those places up, and the Kingsglaive is mad, and it's just a lot of drama. There's a lot going on, so I wouldn't, but at the same time, it's explained all right, and it's just a lot of action, and just ridiculous action at the end. It just layers of layers, and just keeps going for like the last 40 to 30 minutes of this. Is just ridiculously cool. The after credit scene also leads right into the game, so that was pretty cool. Um, yeah, it's definitely interesting. It sucks that Final Fantasy 15 makes you kind of get all these other things like watch a movie beforehand. There's an animated series on YouTube I'm gonna watch. There's like 3 DLCs I had to get and make sure I'm gonna play while I play the game. So I get the full effect of Final Fantasy 15 and its a real edition because I am just weebing out this month, just trying to make time go by because I really want to play Cyberpunk, man. I'm waiting for it. It's so far away still. It's like a month away. But yeah. Anyway, my final verdict on this, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10, an 8 out of 10. It was just a good action-packed movie. I wouldn't watch this if you're not gonna play Final Fantasy 15. Unless you can find it free somewhere. I tried to find it free. I had to pay like $2 for it. But if you're like hesitant, trying to decide if you should buy it, if watch it before you play the game, or if you've already played the game and you still want to know some backstory, definitely check it out. It's cool. It's not bad. It's probably one of the best CGI made movies, games to movies I've seen, and I'm surprised. It surprised me for what it was. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the Final Fantasy series if you are checking it out here these days. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.